Hello and welcome again to Chris's Caribbean Delights. I would like to welcome all my first-time viewers, and if you are a first-time viewer, kindly hit the subscription button, and hit that bell, that notification bell, so you'll be notified when I upload all my wonderful, my awesome recipes. So now, thank you for watching. Yeah, I'm coming to you today with hot cross buns. A recipe for hot cross buns, and there are several recipes out there for hot cross buns. Um, but this is my variation, my version, and it's delectable. It's really decadent. So, remember that song? There's a song that goes with hot cross buns, one a penny, two a penny, something like that. I don't know. It's just keeps ringing in my ear. But here are the ingredients that I'll be using to make my hot cross buns. I am doing a double batch today because I usually would give it to friends who are, for the Easter, for the holiday. So I want to do a double batch, so at least I'll get maybe about 3 dozen or 2 dozen. So it all depends on how much, how large I make them. But before further ado, let's go to the ingredients. And let me introduce you to my spill on my hot cross buns. All the ingredients you have in your cupboard. Let's go. And happy Easter. So here we go. I have here 8 cups of flour because I'm doing a double batch. Normally it would be like 4 cups of flour and half of everything that I have here. But I'm doing a double batch, so I have 8 cups of flour. I have 2 cups of milk. I'm using almond milk today. 2 eggs. I have soaked fruits. These are fruits that I have soaked in alcohol for my Christmas cakes. But I'm going to use a cup and a half of that, and I'm going to use some whole raisins also. Melted butter. I have a cup of sugar, melted butter, a cup of sugar, and my spices. My spices here are nutmeg, freshly grated nutmeg, and I have some mixed spice here, and also I have some cinnamon. So that's going to be my dry spices, which I'm going to incorporate. I have lemon zest. I have like 4 teaspoons of lemon zest, 4 tablespoons of lemon zest, some vanilla and mixed essence. Half of this is going to go into the mixture, and the other half is going to go for my glaze. So and then we need some yeast. Okay, so that's it for that. On this side here, I have the stuff that I'm going to use for the glaze. I have a half a cup of sugar here, water, same amount of water, some rose water, which gives it a lovely fragrance. Butter. I have 1 tablespoon of butter, some star anise, and a stick of cinnamon. So that's going to be for the glaze, but we're going to get to that later. So, but now we go to our mixer. I'm going to do this in the stand mixer. But first I'm going to warm my milk to maybe like 100 degrees, 110 degrees, so that we can get our yeast active. So I'll be right back when that's done. So while the yeast is activating, I'll leave it there maybe about 10 minutes or so. You will put out just to put the dry ingredients together. So in my mixer, my bowl, I have the flour, and I'm just going to put that's the nutmeg in there, the mixed spice. The mixed spice is like a baking spice. It has lots of other spices all mixed together, and then the cinnamon. put the cinnamon in there. Get it all in. I'll use a fork. To just give that a stir. So we can also add our sugar in there. Let's add our sugar. Put our fruits in there. Our orange zest. Salt. Well, these raisins, I'll leave these raisins for towards the end. I'll just kind of just pop them on the top. So let's get the fork, and we're going to just give this a stir to mix everything together. Let everything get incorporated, the fruits get broken up, and you know, and get incorporated into the flour. I'm going to whip my eggs and get them ready. Whip my eggs, mix the butter, and hey, that's the yeast. The yeast has just been blooming for maybe about 5 minutes or so, and it's already really active. So let's see how high that's gonna go before we pour it over. So prepare our wet ingredients, and we'll put some vanilla into the eggs. Whip the eggs up. So once we start pouring our wet ingredients, everything would be ready. So my yeast is very active. That's some very good. So this is my butter. We're going to start adding our wet ingredients in here. Just get that butter in there, every bit of it. Sorry about the noise. The egg with the vanilla. And finally, our milk and our bloomed yeast. So we're going to pour that in here. It was the perfect temperature, so it bloomed wonderfully. Now, we're just going to put our attachment on here. So this is going to go for the first 5 minutes or so, and once everything is and once the dough has become nice and sticky and tacky and comes together, we're going to open it, and I'm going to open and check it to see how much more we need to do. So I have it on my floured surface here, and you don't want to over knead it too much. You just want to smooth it off, and so that it can, once it's smooth, you can put it into your bowl and let it rest. And it has to rest for at least an hour, but an hour and a half, so that those glutens and stuff can do their work. Okay, So let me get a bowl. See, this is what you want it to look like. Nice and smooth, right? And put it in a bowl so that it could rise and double in size. Have it in a nice greased bowl, and I'll just rub a little bit of oil on the top so it wouldn't dry out. To cover this with a paper towel, a damp paper towel or a damp kitchen towel, and just let it sit here and rest. Has to rest until it's double in size. So it's going to be like maybe an hour, 90 minutes, maybe an hour, hour and a half. So while our dough is rising, we can make our glaze, because there's a glaze that has to go on the finished bun. So you'll go with equal amounts of sugar and water. And you'll turn this, let me turn this on, and add some vanilla in there. I'm going to add my rose water, a few drops of rose water, the butter, cinnamon stick, star anise, and the butter. And we're going to let that go. That the sugar is going to melt, infused with the star anise and everything else. The butter is going to make it nice and smooth. So once that starts to boil, we'll be back. Now this is the consistency. This has been boiling here for about 10 minutes. And this is the consistency you're looking for. As it cools, it's going to get thicker, but that's the consistency. So I'm going to shut this off and just let it sit. And once our product is finished, once our buns are finished, we'll just paint it up, glaze it with this glaze. I'll be back. After about an hour and 20 minutes, my dough had doubled in size, and I decided I now need to form them into the little buns and place them on the pan and let them rest for another 30 minutes before putting them in the oven. So that's what I'm about to do now. Depending on how big you want them, you take a piece off and you just roll it, make a nice little ball here, and you just place them on your sheet pan. Okay. And the dough is nice and soft and pliable, and it's gonna rest here for a while, for another 30 or 40 minutes, and then it's gonna puff up a little more, so we'll get a little more size on them. So I'll continue with the rest, and then I'll show you the next step as I put them in the oven when they're puffed up again after another 40 minutes. Okay. So here we are. I've rolled them all out, and they're going to rest for another 40 minutes, and then we'll put them in the oven at 350 for about 20 to 25 minutes. So here we are, guys. The buns are just out of the oven. I And I'm going to glaze them now with the glaze. And then later on we'll put the cross on them. I did a little slit there like a cross, and that can accommodate the icing. This is a wonderful sweet glaze. So they were in the oven for 350 for about 20-25 minutes. And then I took them out. So this is the traditional hot cross buns. I'm going to make the icing so that I can pipe the cross on it. But you have to wait until it's cool, because if you put the icing on there, it's going to just melt off. So when it cools, maybe in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, we'll come back and we'll do the piping of the cross. So here guys, I just used some powdered sugar, some domino powdered sugar, and some evaporated milk to make the icing that I'll pipe the cross with. So it has to come to this consistency. So it's like probably, well, I think I used like 2 tablespoons of milk, and I used maybe 4 tablespoons of powdered sugar. But you have to get a consistency, a runny consistency like this. And it's going to, you're going to pipe it on. And it's going to, once it's dry, once the buns are cool, the buns have to be really cool. And then you pipe this on there so it wouldn't melt. So we'll be back. So after piping my cross, and looks pretty decent. It's about time for us to see what the inside looks like. So we're gonna just try to cut this guy open. Wonderful. Ooh, nice and soft inside. This is awesome. And you must have it with some cheese. So I have my cheese here. 2 slices, 3 slices. Close that back. And this is a perfect bite. Perfect bite. Enjoy. Thank you for watching. And happy Easter.